Hello and welcome to Shildon, and more importantly Locomotion, which is just down there. Now, I've been here before. I've done a video on Locomotion, the new hall and the main hall before, so I'll go in, I'll show you a quick glimpse of what there is to see. There's some new trains outside the new hall which I'll show you first, and then I'll give you a glimpse inside the new hall and the main hall, and there is a longer video which will be on the end of this video. You can click on that and check that out. But I'm going to show you something different. If you come up the station and go right, there's some historic buildings over there, so I'll show you those a little bit later on the video. So let's head over to Locomotion, check that out, and we'll head over here. So let's go. What makes the Class 93 so groundbreaking is its ability to operate using 3 different power sources: electric, diesel and battery. This flexibility means it can haul both passenger and freight trains with ease. In battery mode, the Class 93 can perform zero-emission shunting operations, making it perfect for moving vehicles around rail yards without polluting the environment. When running on overhead electric lines, it can handle steep gradients at full line speed, and in hybrid mode, it combines the power of its diesel engine and batteries, producing an output comparable to the iconic Class 37 locomotives, but with far greater efficiency. This next generation locomotive isn't just powerful, it's smart. By lowering emissions and cutting operational costs for both freight and passenger services, the Class 93 represents a major step forward in rail innovation. With its versatility, reduced environmental impact and the future-focused design, the Class 93 is set to transform the way we think about the rail transport in the UK. Meet the VTG I-Wagon, the UK's first fully digital freight wagon. Every wheel, every brake, every key component is monitored in real time. Nothing is left to chance. It predicts maintenance issues before they happen, keeping freight safe, on time and on track. Smart, connected and efficient, the I-Wagon is the future of rail freight. VTG I-Wagon, driving rail freight forward today. Introducing the Revolution Very Light Rail, the UK's pioneering zero-emission train designed to transform regional travel. At just 24.8 tonnes, RVLR is 40% lighter than traditional trains, enabling fast acceleration and reducing energy consumption. Powered by a hybrid system combining lithium titanate batteries and Euro 6 diesel engines, it offers silent, emission-free operation in urban areas and speeds up to 65 miles an hour. With sleek composite design, spacious interiors and features like wheelchair accessibility and onboard charging, the RVLR ensures a comfortable journey for all passengers. Developed by Transport Design International and Eversholt Rail, RVLR is set to reconnect communities and revitalise branch lines across the UK. Join the revolution in a sustainable rail travel with RVLR, where innovation meets efficiency. Opened in 2004, the new hall at Locomotion Shildon is a striking space where history and innovation meet. Sunlight spills through the expansive windows, illuminating gleaming locomotives and carriages arranged as if they're ready to journey once more. Visitors can walk around the machines, exploring interactive displays, detailed panels and hands-on exhibits that bring the story of Britain's railway to life. The hall hums with the energy of motion and discovery, inviting everyone to experience the evolution of rail transport in a space that celebrates both the past and progress. Open to the public in 2004, the main hall at Locomotion Shildon welcomes visitors into the heart of Britain's railway heritage. Inside you'll find stunning collections of historic locomotives, from early steam engines to more modern marvels, each displayed with care and context. The hall's high, airy space, lined with polished wooden floors and wide viewing areas, allows visitors to explore the machines up close, while informative panels and interactive exhibitions bring the story of the railways to life. It's a place where history moves, inviting everyone to step back in time and experience the evolution of the locomotion firsthand.
When it comes to locomotion, obviously, as you've probably seen already, in the actual new hall and the actual main hall itself, it hasn't really changed a huge amount. In the main hall there is a bit of a information boards and the likes in regards to the 200-year celebration of the railways, and in the new hall there's just 3 trains out, which you would have already seen. So I do want to film absolutely loads, because I've already done a video on both the new hall and the main hall, as well as Stephenson's Replica, which is just over there. I'll put a video link at the end of the video for the new hall, the main hall, and riding on that great little replica over there as well. But yeah, there's some nice little trains. If you've never been here, I definitely recommend coming. It's free of charge, and yeah, you've got all sorts. If you like pacers, there's a pacer just there. The Inspiration train is here, but it's only here for a certain amount of time. I think it might go on the 1st of October, I'm not too sure, but that's a great little thing to go and see. I have done a video on that, and you can see the past, present and future of the 200 years of railway, and then possibly the next 200 years as well. But yeah, there's a lot of locomotives, electric trains, and sort of rolling stock and the likes over there. New hall has got the same sort of stuff as well. But I'm going to show you something a bit different now, which I didn't do in my previous video, and it's just past the station and over the other side. So let's go and check that out, shall we? So as I walk down this little pathway, and you can see the Inspiration train is just there, the past, present and future of railway. It gives you the story basically from 1825. It lets you know exactly what's happening now, and obviously what the future of the railway may look like with hydrogen and the likes. I have done a video on that, so do check that out. But it's a lovely little experience. If you've been on it, let us know. If you haven't, check the website. I'm sure there's details on where it will be, or there'll be videos online to sort of get a bit more information from the actual train company itself. As I say, I've done a video, so you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, it's just over here past the station, and there's a lovely little historical area over there, and we'll be there in just a moment. So it's great to see that they've actually put up these signs, the Stockton and Darlington Railway route 1825, and as you see, a northern train just going past on that particular line. Passing the main building of Locomotion there. But yeah, there's quite a few dotted around on the actual Stockton and Darlington line, so you may have seen those if you've gone on this line. But yeah, it's just past this station, which is just up here, and there's a load of historical buildings, which we'll see in a moment. So this line you can actually see here continues going all the way up, but this is the line that Stephenson's rocket replica that you saw a moment ago goes along. This particular line goes along to here. There's a just before the coal drop area over there, there is a barrier. It stops there, then reverses all the way back to the main hall area of Locomotion, and it's a great little experience. So if you haven't done that, I recommend that. That is on my video. I did have a conversation with a gentleman on there, and there is a video on my channel where he talks all about Stephenson's rocket replica, the intricate parts of it and the history of it and the likes, so do check that out. But yeah, it just goes along here at a sort of decent speed, I would guess. Not too fast, but you can just enjoy obviously going on that particular replica, and just imagine what it might have been like in 1825 on 27th of September, getting on that Locomotion and just travelling along there for the first ever time. That must have been an amazing experience, seeing it firsthand, not seeing something like that before. It's all sort of horse-drawn carriages and the likes, and now seeing steam locomotives zooming along the lines at sort of 8 to 10 mile an hour. Well, zooming to people that used to use horses. But yeah, up here is the historic buildings. I think these are the coal drops we'll see in a second, but there are some buildings and other things up here that I didn't include in my previous video, so I will show you those in a moment. But it's just up here. So I believe these parts here that you can see here, I think these are known as the coal drops. And if you're coming via train, the Shildon station is just over the road there, and there are ramps, and it's, as you can see here, it is flat coming across here. There are a couple of gates that you might need assistance opening. This side's not too bad because you can push that open. There are big handles to get it open, but they are quite heavy gates, to be honest. Obviously, if you're in a wheelchair, hopefully there'll be a kind person to help you with that. But yeah, it's accessible on there for disabled. It's all ramped and flat, and the pathway going towards Locomotion, everything is flat, and inside is ramps and everything, so it is disabled friendly to get here and check it all out. It's all inclusive, and yeah, it's just a great place to come, free of charge, and you just get to learn about the trains and the history. And then obviously over here you get to learn about other things, which I'll talk about in a second as we pass. I think these are called the coal drops. Designed to refuel steam locomotives, this grade 2 listed structure was used by as many as 100 locomotives per day at its peak. Commissioned in 1846 by William Bosch, the superintendent of locomotives for the Stockton Darlington Railway, the coal drops remained in use for nearly 100 years. The coal drops allowed refuelling to take place much more efficiently by relying on gravity rather than manual labour. Wagons full of coal were brought to the top of the structure and dropped their load into the waiting locomotive tenders below using wooden chutes. These buildings mark the location of the junction where the main Stockton and Darlington Railway met the branch lines of the Black Boy Colliery and Surtees Railway. Although known locally as the Black Boy Stables, there was no evidence to suggest that they were actually used for this purpose. Their layout and the presence of chimneys meant it was much more likely that they were used by workers employed to look after the railway, such as plate layers and bank riders. The building to the right, known as Castle Cabin, may have been the forerunner of a signal box controlling railway traffic from the adjoining branch lines. Much is yet to be discovered about these intriguing buildings, which would have seen their use change as the railway landscapes around them developed. Within 30 years of opening the Stockton and Darlington Railway in 1825, a small goods yard and sidings were present in Shildon to allow the safe movement of coal and other products. The goods shed was built in 1855 on the instruction of the Stockton and Darlington Railway Committee and remained in use until the 1960s. Locomotives pulled into the shed and then horse-drawn carts were loaded with goods for distribution around Shildon and the wider area. Coal was tipped in the cells into the rear of the shed to supply the local domestic market. Constructed of sandstone, the building also made use of recycled sleepers from the railway. If you look closely, you can see the split two-hole stones that have been incorporated in the construction. The parcel office opposite was built around 70 years later, and it is rare for such timber buildings to survive. Painted in the London and North Eastern Railway colours, it was from this building that the railway staff controlled the movement of items from the goods shed. Built for the Stockton and Darlington Railway, this terrace of railway workers' cottages is one of the earliest examples of its kind in the world. When new, the terraces were formed in 3 cottages. By the time of the 1841 census, they housed 21 people, including the engineman, the moulder and 2 fitters, plus 13 children and other family members. For a short period of time in the mid-19th century, the cottages were adapted to form 6 separate back-to-back dwellings, but traces of their early incarnation can be seen by studying the front facade, where a change in stonework shows a blocked-up entrance. The ceramic black and white plaque on the front of the cottages displays the characters G9, a reference given to the group of buildings by the Stockton and Darlington Railway in 1857 to help with its administration. Originally a single dwelling, Soho House was built for Timothy Hackworth, the first superintendent of the locomotives for the Stockton and Darlington Railway, and his family. Following the deaths of Hackworth in 1850 and his widow Jane 2 years later, the property became the residence of William Bosch, the next superintendent. Later, a succession of railway workers would occupy the house until 1966. Behind the house sat an erecting shop of the now demolished Soho Works, established by Hackworth in 1833, and to the right a large building incorporating the works foundry, machine shop and blacksmith's shop. It was here that Hackworth designed and built a number of steam locomotives, including the first one to be used in Russia and the 3 that were exported to Nova Scotia in Canada. In 1855, 5 years after Hackworth's death, the Stockton and Darlington Railway bought the Soho Works, and locomotives continued to be produced there until 1871, when production moved entirely to Darlington. This building was originally used as an iron merchant's warehouse, and it's thought to be one of the oldest surviving railway-related buildings in the world. In 1842, the shed was leased by the Soho Works, which has been established by Timothy Hackworth, the first superintendent of locomotives for the Stockton and Darlington Railway, before being purchased by the North Eastern Railway in 1863. Locomotives were built here until 1871, when production moved to Darlington. The building's connection to the locomotive production continued, however, as the presence of an underfloor heating system facilitated its use as a paint shop. The building had much more varied history in the 19th century. Taken over by Shildon Railway Institute, it saw use as a gymnasium, boxing academy and as a practice room for the Shildon Works Silver Band. So yeah, I thought I would show you that little bit of history back there. If you do want to go and see that, obviously when you're coming out of the station, rather than going left towards Locomotion, if you go right, there's this long path and that heads straight down to the areas that I've just seen, obviously the Lime Cottages, and obviously everything over there, the goods yard and the likes. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you that because I didn't show you that in the previous video, and I didn't really want to replicate anything I did in the previous one where I did the main hall and the new hall. Anyway, if you thought that was interesting, do us a favour and hit that like button, comment below and let us know if you've been to Shildon, if you've been to the Locomotion, the new hall, if you've seen the new trains that are just outside the new hall, or whether you've been over there and seen Timothy Hackworth's place. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As I've said many a time, it helps me massively and obviously gets doing videos like this for you good people. So thank you so much for watching. It's much appreciated, and I will see you all in the next one. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Take care. Bye bye.